Alright, if you checked out my last video, I talked about whether you should have one car or two cars when it comes to maybe having a do it, do it all solution for a sports car, or going to do a kind of a two-car solution, double duty solution, either daily driver or maybe a car that can handle winters or rough conditions, and then have your fun car. Definitely feel that at least most people, or maybe most people that are younger, like in college or in high school, that are first driving or first getting their car or just having their first jobs, won't be able to have two cars. It's just not very realistic. So kind of, what that information, what should you do? So, I mean, I only have limited experience. I'm only 22. I just got my first car, but I feel like I made a good choice of waiting to get a car rather than getting one maybe earlier. And then I'll explain in a little bit. I think what helped me, I guess, be okay with having or waiting to get a car was kind of a variety of factors. I would say main one is money, being able to save up money and also have enough income to actually support a car comfortably, and that was reasonable for me. I could put a good amount of money down, build my credit, make sure I can get a good interest rate, then also make sure I had a full-time job that I could have income to help support the car. Two, I think what helped a lot was sim racing. So I just had my truck, then I had my sim, which is very cost effective, fun, to enjoy driving, enjoy speed, and you can have more elements than you would having a sports car, in a way of being able to drive on track, drive without rules, drive a bunch of different cars, and just kind of have more of a chill experience. You're at home, it's safe, air conditioning, whatever. So it's a little bit more of a carefree experience, and it's a lot more cost effective. I mean, I have a full-on aluminum profile rig, triple monitors, direct drive steering wheel, shifter, handbrake, and all that stuff. And you can say it's an expensive setup, but even getting a used MB or NA Miata is going to be a few $1,000s. And my setup, let's say arguably, to get a good example, you're going to probably pay at least $4,000 to $5,000. But my setup was well within the 2,000 range. If you take out a PC, maybe 3 to 4 if you include a PC. But you don't even have to go as far as I did. But I think that, I guess in my eyes, I don't really regret what I did. I think part of it is some experience you do give up. I didn't get to have that sports car in high school or early in college. However, I think when it was time for me to get a car, I can get a car like I really wanted, and something that will be a lot newer, that will be, most likely more reliable, less issues, more potential, and that I could have it for a longer time than maybe getting a car younger, spend a decent chunk of money, not really have much savings. You're not really building savings when you're putting a lot in the car, maybe fixing the car, maybe it doesn't run, or maybe you have to constantly trade out the cars because it may not stay in a good working condition. And I think that getting a car, and the newest car with the lowest miles and the nicest example that you can afford, is a lot better than kind of getting something out of your budget that's not really particularly what you want, which is lacking in a lot of things that you want or need in a car, and then trying to get that car later. It will kind of take you a longer time. You're not maybe investing your money, you're not saving the money, you're kind of spending it as you're getting on something you don't really maybe particularly enjoy. I'm not saying that people that you can't have a good experience getting a car when you're a little younger. And then I know I had friends in high school and college that did a lot of part-time jobs and stuff, so there is a sacrifice to obtain those goals, and it is doable. However, I think for most people, I think they should mainly stick with the car they have, if they have one, or get something probably a little bit more on the economy side, or something more cost effective. And then when they do get that good job or that better opportunity, they'll be able to get the car they really want, and also kind of know what they want in the car, give themselves just some more time to mature, to be safer on the road, to kind of understand what they like, and then get their car. That's just my opinion on it. But at least going back to it, I think getting a sim rig is a lot better because you'll learn a lot of just small skills. You can practice left foot braking. You can kind of know how to correct oversteer and understeer, especially if you get a real drive car. And no, it's going to be different when it's real life, gets game time. It's not going to be, so carefree like the sim, or, it doesn't have the same pressure, than real driving, of course. But at least you'll have some knowledge, some know-how. Even with manual transmission, I think I really understood how gears worked. And although the sim clutch, and even I had a load cell clutch, it didn't really completely teach me, especially if you didn't practice the right way. But I did have more familiarity to it. It wasn't as foreign to me when I started driving. So it does teach you a lot, and I think it's a good tool to kind of have some relief or some kind of expression through your car. You can mod your car, make it look like how you want in real life. You can drive crazy on the traffic and no hezzy in Assetto Corsa, for example. You can drive on track, so when it is time to drive, you can kind of just chill in your car. You can do the normal things, go to work, go to school, and if you want to have the fun things, you can do it on the sim a lot more inexpensively and a lot more cost effective. Save your money, and then once you are ready to get the car, you'll be financially ready, mentally ready, and you'll have a better understanding of what you want. And then you're gonna be, I can't tell you where you're gonna feel, but I would assume that it would end up being a lot better for you from a enjoyment standpoint, for feeling like you got something that's worth your money, and that you're getting a car you really want. You don't want to have something that you're compromising on, or something that you don't really want, but you're just trying to make it work, because it's not really going to feel complete. It's going to feel maybe like a waste of money. So I think you should kind of wait, be able to save up and do that. I think that being a car enthusiast is very expensive, and that cars should not be taken lightly. Car decisions cannot be taken lightly, because depending on what situation you get in, it can really ruin yourself financially, and also it takes away from building your future. Being young is the best time to invest, to save, to start building that foundation. And then once those things grow, or once you kind of pour into those things will grow a lot in the future. So that's kind of where I'm from. And I think especially if you're not a car enthusiast at all, and you just want a newer car, not necessarily having a new car or newer car is going to really give you a lot. And I think that there's ways you can do to even just improve the car you currently have to make it more modern. In my 2002 truck, people constantly mistake it for a 2015, a 2020, 2017 if they don't really know cars, just because of a simple touchscreen radio in there. And I have Apple CarPlay, a backup camera, Android Auto, all that stuff, with a $70 cheap Amazon head unit that me and my dad installed. We just got some shrink wrap stuff to help with the wires, and that was it. To make my car go from something that felt super old and retro to modern in the eyes of some people with one simple change. You can change out the seats to get, maybe if you have a cloth trim or lower trim, you can get the leather seats or whatever better seat material by just swapping the seats. A few $100s. You can, your sound system's not the best. You can either change your amp or get new speakers. If you don't really like the aesthetics of your car, you can do aesthetic mods, rain guards or wings or whatever. Don't go too ricey, but you can do some aesthetic stuff, change your wheels and stuff like that. You can make different pieces of your car feel newer. You can tune your car. You can put an exhaust in your car. You can make your simple, normal, regular traffic car, if you will, whatever you want to call it, to make it your own and make it special to you. That way you can feel fulfilled with it, it can feel fresh, it can feel new in a way, instead of just going out and buying a new car to just say you have a new car. I would say kind of hold off on the car as much as you can, and then look at some alternative. Get a sim rig. Maybe look at some cars that you didn't think of. Maybe look at some different options. Maybe look at some used examples, or maybe think about some normal cars you can maybe tune or modify that can take mods well, that can get kind of similar to what you want, and then once you're kind of ready for that next step to get that car, you're able to do so and really make sure you get the car you want, so you feel good about it at the end of the day. I think the worst nightmare that I would have is to spend a lot of money on a car I didn't really enjoy. I think I was looking at cars and I saw the prices of some of these new cars that are basically cost as much as a WRX or some of these other cars. These are more affordable sports cars, and I just couldn't imagine spending $20,000, $26,000, $25,000, $28,000 on a car that is super boring and mundane. I think you could just get a used luxury vehicle, similar features or maybe more features, more power, more connection, and just change up the head unit, put a big screen in there, and you basically have a brand new car, just like any new car. But to me, I think that if you're going to spend that kind of money anyway, you should really make sure it's the one you actually want and the one that's going to give you that fulfillment. You only live once, and obviously you want to do fun things and have some balance, but if this car will give you some more balance or makes you have more fun or have you allow you to have more experiences, then you need to make sure that your money is worth it and it's well spent. But that's the video. Please check out my other video about my perspective on either having one or two cars, for car enthusiasts. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have a video idea or what you want to hear next, please comment below. I really appreciate it, and I'll use that suggestion in new videos. Peace, and drive safe.